What is up, you awesome kisters? It's CistReactZ, guys. Now, we are reacting to what if the FNAF timeline was planned from the start, reboot / game dev concepts. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to Unwithered Truth, and comment down below. Now, I had asked Unwithered Truth, can I react to this? And they said they preferred that I add like edits to it or just like cut it up. So there's like a reason to watch the video and come back here. Of course, I went into my lab and I like studied the fabrics of the universe and life, and I was like, this has got to be the way to do it. So we're gonna turn this reaction video into an eye-catching mini game. Now the screen is gonna move a lot, but you'll hear the audio normally. The screen is gonna move at some points a lot. If you can catch the reaction, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna annoy the hell out of you guys a lot, but you're still gonna see my reaction to it and barely see the video at times. So make sure you guys go check out the original and support it. I feel like that's the best way to get my reaction to this in full, but also you guys have a reason to go back and see the video stably and normally. This video contains flashing lights that may affect viewers, so be careful with that. I won't move the video on this part.
I recently put up a poll
here we
on
go.
my community tab section where I asked if you guys thought that it would be a good idea for the original FNAF games, i.e. FNAF 1 to Ultimate Custom Night, to be remade as to fit the newer lore. The results of this poll were mixed, with over 70% of people
clean up the lore with
yes,
remakes.
it should be done, but the 30% that said no being the more vocal as to why they think that it would ruin the franchise in the comments. I'm honestly split about the idea myself, as reboots and remakes can invite a lot of their own problems when dealing with a franchise like FNAF. That's why today I thought it would be more fun to create what I think would be a best case scenario.
I love how Unwithered has like a PNG of like Freddy moving around. That's cool.
For a reboot of the entire franchise, or at least a reboot of the very first game, to see what I think FNAF 1 could have looked like were the story planned out from the very beginning. Depending on how this video performs, I might just create more like this, but for now,
well, this video performed very well.
Where the series started and try to reshuffle FNAF 1 to be a more narrative experience.
The Unwithered Truth presents
the best of what came before and trying to leave out all of the weird contradictory material. The title of my reboot will be Five Nights at Freddy's Anniversary.
Okay. Oh my god. So wait, I thought I was gonna go see a theory video. I thought I was gonna watch a theory video. I didn't think I was gonna see like a whole remake of the game.
Start exactly where the first game did. A newspaper article.
This is a real what if video.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Posted in the local newspaper, the Utah Province Daily Herald, is the following ad, published the 6th of November, 1993. As you can see, not much here has changed from the original newspaper, aside from making the phone number to be the same from the Security Breach Fredbear posters and updating the minimum wage. Again, I'm not doing this to fit with Security Breach, but just to leave fun Easter eggs from this previous version of the FNAF universe. Nothing from any of the games is applicable to this new reboot's lore. In my ideal scenario, I would also make that abundantly clear in community posts and advertising for the game before it released. The reason I decided to firmly set this game in 1993 rather than in 1989 or 1998 or 92 or any of the other proposed dates for the current version of FNAF 1 is mainly as a way to pay
I don't even know what date it started off in.
And their first FNAF video, which started the whole theorizing trend in the first place. However, there is a further reason, but we'll get back to that later.
I didn't even know MatPat like started the whole theorist thing.
In the original game, the surrounding blurred out text was just some filler stuff that Scott put in for fun, but I think this is a great opportunity to further hint at other things going on in the FNAF world at this time. I think an advertisement for Stan's Budget Tech would be fitting,
Stan's
as well
Budget
as an
Tech
article about the unknown whereabouts of a Daily Herald reporter, Bronwyn Light, a character featured in the week before, who disappeared a little over a week ago. Again, I'm not saying the week before is canon, but I just like the idea of adapting some of that story into this fresh universe. The player is prompted to continue, but instead of being brought straight to night 1, the newspaper is pulled away from the camera. We didn't realize it, but we're actually already looking through the POV of our protagonist. We sit staring at an old boxy TV and a garishly decorated living room torn straight out
plushies
of
in the
70s.
corner.
We grab a TV remote and can click through the TV channels using our keyboard or controller.
Wait, is the Fredbear plushie's eyes plucked out right there because Michael realized there was cameras in it?
Torn straight out of the 70s.
Because if so, that's
grab a
crazy.
TV remote and can click through the TV channels using our keyboard or controller.
One brand new state-of-the-art animatronics. You're sure to be the most popular kid in town. If you want
I love that music.
Service babies, entertainment, and rentals. Let fantasy and fun come to you.
A clock in the corner of the room
That's commercial.
will tick to 11 p.m. in 60 seconds, which will end these in-between night sections, or the player can always manually skip ahead with the button on screen. At the end of the game, all the stuff you watched on the TV will be available through an extras page on the main menu for ease of theorists wanting to review. Anyway, nothing too crazy important on this first pre-night section beyond some Easter eggs, so
he's already doing well.
Let's jump into night 1. 11 p.m. on November 6th ticks over to November 8th.
Part 2,
Before
Freddy
I go into
Fazbear's
the
Pizza.
night gameplay, I think it's important that I go over exactly what this revamped pizzeria would look like, and I'm going to be drawing inspiration from all different versions of this building from over the years.
I like how it's a blue plan type of edit.
FGS made this fantastic layout based on FNAF 1, Help Wanted, and the Into the Pit book. Despite those pieces of media not being a part of my new canon, I honestly love this layout. It just feels like exactly what I'm going for with this sort of revamped FNAF 1 pizzeria. But all credit goes to them for this really great layout, which I'll use as a base. The only thing about this layout that I don't really understand is this double entryway, so I reckon I'll just lose that for my version. First thing we're going to add here is
I love how
it's like all the different Into the Pit
it's like
versions,
terraforming into his ideas.
It's a standout piece of modern FNAF
ball
iconography, even making its way into the movie's pizzeria. So we'll place it in the back right corner of the room as is described in the original book. I'm going to shorten the hallways that lead to the security office as well, as the original FNAF 1 pizzeria has a lot of this weird dead space which is not really used. This new layout already goes a long way to fixing some of those problems, but I'm just going to continue to condense down the space because I think it'll just make for a more realistic experience. Because everyone knows that in a game with ghosts, haunting, animatronic robots, the most important thing is realism. To use up some more of the empty space, I'm going to add a manager's office, as there seems to not be one in the original layout, and one is mentioned in both Into the Pit and the Silver Eyes. In general, it just makes sense to have one.
I love how the books are expanding the building, man. That's cool.
Bathrooms and put it in next to the kitchen. I'm also going to lose this bend around the backstage and just make it so backstage is behind the stage. Keeping with that, I'm going to also move the safe room from next to the restrooms to beside the backstage. The safe room serves the same purpose in my universe as it did in the original, so I thought it would make more sense to be placed out of the way so employees could actually move away from customers rather than having to pass through to the bathrooms. Also, as a storage room, it makes more sense to be next to parts and service anyway, so equipment doesn't have to be lugged across the restaurant. I'm going to also just reduce this small space here.
Thinking about the workers, much like what Fazbear Entertainment didn't.
It makes more sense to kind of loop around in this U-shape.
Or much how Fazbear Entertainment
that's all I
did
think
not.
We need to add or change from the old layout, so now we have to talk about cameras. I definitely want to keep the old eerie feeling of FNAF 1's cams, so as little visibility as possible is key. Here are all the camera placements I was imagining, and while I won't go through them one by one, the safe room will remain off camera beside the backstage cam. We'll also add 3 new cameras, one for the arcade, one for the prize counter, and one for the manager's office. Great, so now we have our building layout.
Nice layout.
System.
Wow.
Aesthetically for the building, I don't
transition right into the game.
Too far from the original series, as I find reboots or fan games often try to completely redefine every aspect of the franchise's most iconic elements. Obviously, it makes sense to want to put your own spin on things, but for me, FNAF 1 is so classic that making things too different isn't worth it. Some things I'll add, though, are old toy animatronic parts in the backstage area, along with really old withered costume parts.
That's how you tie in the lore.
In my universe, the Unwithered are undeniably canon. I mean, are you really surprised? I think some retro posters from 1985.
That's how you tie in the lore.
On the walls or hidden behind arcade cabinets could be.
I like how Bonnie's moving while he talks.
Fredbear's Family Diners posters Into the Pit game style could fit somewhere as well. So that's our pizzeria. But what about the night-to-night gameplay?
Gameplay.
With this being the first game in the Reboot series,
for a 30-minute video, they're moving along fast.
One's simple game loop is the way to go. The usual loop of checking the cameras and closing the doors if the animatronics make it to outside the office is the same. Foxy's Pirate Cove mechanic is a little different though, as I thought it would be cool to introduce his light sensitivity from the other games into this one. Similar to FNAF 2, the cameras are all equipped with their own spotlights, and to keep Foxy in his cove, you have to flash him with the lights to make him recoil behind his curtain. To stop this from being a FNAF 2 puppet music box
yeah, abuse Foxy, that's what I like to hear.
The Pirate Cove cams will make it so that Foxy actually moves faster the longer the cameras are on his stage. That way you're only
That's not fair.
Cameras to flash him, but not to stay on it or he'll just come right back in.
Ah, nah. They even got the jump scares right.
Right back in.
Oh, stop looking at my damn camera! Like, oh my god.
Bonnie down the left hall, Chica down the right hall, but Freddy...
Why is Chica looking like she's posing for a picture?
Has some interesting behavior. Every now and then,
selfie of the year face, bro.
Echoing through the halls of the pizzeria. If we check the cams and locate Freddy while his music box is playing, we'll see that he is not facing the cameras as usual, but instead facing toward open ventilation shafts that'll come into play later.
Oh, that's not cool. You feel very Freddy. Hint, Freddy does not like being in the spotlight. Huh. That's cool.
So that's the regular loop, but I think fleshing it out with some extras could help this game to feel like a true revitalization of the series. I don't want to add too many extra mechanics, as I feel like we're robbing ourselves of the opportunity to expand the gameplay in following games, but the week before gave me some inspiration for extra tasks we might have as our time being the security guard at Freddy's. In the week before, Ralph has to clean up messes, change out light bulbs, and while I don't think there should be too many of these extra tasks for this game, giving the player optional challenges for extra points and lore secrets could be a really fun idea. Some of these extra challenges could even help the player out with their regular check the cameras, close the doors gameplay. For example, a simple task could be to switch out a light bulb in the restrooms, just like in the week before. The player is shown on the map where their next task lies, and so they have to make sure there's no animatronics nearby before heading there.
What?
The player can then click a button on the screen and make their way to that room. How, you might ask? Well, the guard stands up from his chair, turns around, and enters the vents.
Ah, see.
While in the...
Nah, see, that's some crazy stuff. That is some crazy shit. I would not leave that office on no circumstances. That is insane. No.
You stop every now and then.
That is a diligent worker, because I would never leave that place.
Which way
nope.
the event will lead you, but there's nothing to stop you from taking a different path.
Nothing to stop you from taking a different path. I wonder if you could hide in there until 6 a.m. if it's like close to 6 on 5, just so you didn't have to deal with the robots.
All of your tasks throughout the week would have a noise meter, which draws animatronics to them. If the player gets caught, they're dead. But if they succeed, they return to the office with no problem.
What do you do in that
I
situation?
think it's better if the animatronics can't fit in these vents, as otherwise that's a whole other problem to deal with, and it's probably too much to add for the very first game in the series. Like I was saying, these should have a positive effect for the player on gameplay. So for our light bulb example, any animatronic that ends up in the restrooms will now spend more time in that area searching the lit up bathroom, meaning they are less likely to come and kill the player. I think these extra mini tasks would add a lot to the game, and they'd be randomized, so no 2 playthroughs would be the same. It'd also give the player an opportunity.
You probably have to switch the security job to security / maintenance
the entire time. In terms of other extra stuff you can do, you can see that we've added an arcade to the map, so you know we've got to add some 8-bit minigames, but
nice.
We'll talk a bit more about those in detail.
Oh my god, those sprites look hard. I love them.
Section of the video. Now, something much more substantial I'd like to change with this game is Night 5.
Night 5?
I'm taking heavy inspiration from FNAF 4 here, but something I think was really interesting about that game was the choice to switch from the regular animatronics to Nightmare Fredbear on Night 5. Totally stealing that idea, Night 5 will have the player go up against the one and only Golden Freddy, who will be rocking his withered Fredbear look. Now,
Oh, no.
I'm all for the idea of Golden Freddy taking the form of his bandmates in the original series, but I think that was more of a response to the fact that Scott didn't plan out the series from the start, so he needed to explain why Golden Freddy looked different in the first game, despite there being no reason for the company to repair a suit that they're not using. However, we don't have to worry about any of that here, so in my reboot, Fredbear looks the same as he did all those years ago. Story-wise, there is a reason that Golden Freddy takes over on Night 5, but again, I'll go into that later in the lore part of the video. I imagine that on Night 5, everything starts up as normal, but we notice that by 1 AM, none of the band have even moved yet. Then, suddenly, the power in the building cuts out, the cameras go down, and we're left in the dark.
We're really going FNAF 4 style?
When the power comes back on, the stage is empty and Pirate's Cove is open. All of the animatronics have disappeared.
Hell no.
Switching to the back
It's me?
shows that the camera has been knocked down from its original resting place and is now lying on the floor.
He done broke the... Oh, nah. Golden Freddy done broke the what if video, too. Hey, what would y'all do if a prompt came up that said, the little E prompt that he has to go into the room? What would you do? Would you sit in the room or go in there? Because me personally, I'm not going nowhere. Yeah, a head coming out the door, I'm not going nowhere. Me personally.
Golden Freddy is now your main threat and will take the role of the other 4 animatronics. If he appears in Pirate's Cove, flashing him away will make him return to his regular pathing, otherwise it's a game over. Surviving Golden Freddy is a difficult task.
There is somebody on this earth that is doing my favorite animatronic justice, and I love it.
Survive.
I love it.
Well, we'll talk about that later. So that's Night 5, but I'm going to do away with Night 6 entirely. I think as cool as it is to have an extra night, the series is called Five Nights at Freddy's, so the custom night will act as the extra night and be a non-canon.
He could have done what the original Night 5 did on FNAF 4, like start with all the animatronics on their highest aggressive mode, and then after a while, the whole sequence with Golden Freddy starts, and then you have to deal with Golden Freddy that night. It doesn't have to have lore in it. It can just be like an extra hard night.
And in challenge mode, and not have a night number. The custom night will provide the same options as
at least custom night made it.
Animatronic difficulty settings, any challenges like
how does Freddy's eye look like that?
Nights, stuff like that. There will also be
it's probably just shadows.
Golden Freddy, who will take on the AI of the most difficult animatronic you have set and take over at 4 AM, FNAF 4 style. So
he just slowly starts to type in 1987.
5, along with any custom night shenanigans a player might get up to.
Oh, hell no.
But what does it all mean? What is the real story behind Five Nights at Freddy's Anniversary?
Lore.
FNAF 1 changed the way a lot of games looked at storytelling. It had an undeniable impact on people when it released, and the same core storytelling philosophies have stuck around to this very day. So, what can we do to make sure this reboot intrigues people in the same way, makes them want to pick apart every tiny detail until they feel like they've figured out all the nooks and crannies of this fresh take on the FNAF story? Well, for starters, I think keeping the focus in-game being on the gameplay rather than the story is something that the original FNAF series got right. The story wasn't spoon-fed to us. Any hints about the wider narrative had to be sought out by the community, which is what makes theorizing so fun to this day. That's why the in-between night sections I mentioned earlier in Michael's home, or the mini-games I'll go over in a bit, are absolutely...
Yeah, you know what? When someone kind of explains it like that, it does make sense. Because Scott, he always uses the 8-bit mini games and has like that, Super Nintendo look to his storytelling mini games and stuff. And back in those days, yeah, you had to go like look for things yourself. No one really spoon-fed that to you. No guides on Google spoon-fed that to you. You had to go look for like the hidden walls in Zelda by yourself, the hidden platform that'll take you up to the top of the screen in Mega Man. So I guess I am sorry for every instance of me saying it's kind of cool that this horror indie game shows you the story because Scott Cawthon doesn't. So yeah, I'm sorry for saying that. Hell, I probably said that on a video that's posted today, so I'm sorry for ever saying that.
Optional, and most of them
it does fit in with Scott's game style.
But before I go into the secrets, there is one character I've neglected to mention up to this point, or at least his role in this game. He is undoubtedly one of the most iconic and important characters.
William
and is
Afton?
a crucial aspect to the way the original games hooked their audience. And that is, of course, Ralph. The
Ralph?
guy. In this game, Ralph will indeed be our guide.
I forgot he had a
was in the
name.
Original, giving us tips and tricks to surviving the nights, while also dropping tantalizing teases to the wider Freddy's universe.
Ralph, the phone guy.
Hello? Hello? Hi there. I wanted to record a couple messages for you to help you get settled in over your first week on the job. I definitely could have done with a friendly voice on these long nights, so I thought I'd give
Ralph
you one
is the
to
previous
listen to.
night guard.
Ralph will introduce himself as the location's manager.
My name's Ralph. I'm the manager of this fine establishment.
He's also the manager.
Also currently the night guard and the janitor.
Oh.
Stuff
Ouch.
has been hard to come by as of late, but thanks to you, I finally have a replacement. Someone's coming in from on high to be the new manager, but you have the privilege of
Someone from
guarding the
corporate is
building
taking
after
over.
hours and cleaning up a few things here and there. This is my last week on the job, so we'll both be braving new beginnings together. Let's see here. There's an introductory greeting I'm supposed to read. You know, sort of a legal thing they had to bring in a few years back.
He'll give a hilariously satirical company greeting that no sane person would stick around to hear the end of, because they'd already be out the door looking for a safer line of work.
Yeah.
Ralph assures us nothing will go wrong, as everything in Freddy's has a completely logical
Definitely not
explanation.
Ghost Kids.
Ralph mentions that the animatronic characters have been stuck on stage since the bite of 87.
Yeah, things really haven't been the same.
Like, if
since
I heard the
then.
bite of 87,
You know,
I'm out.
People could excuse one bite, but two in 4 years.
There was another bite in 1983.
I really had a hard time with that one. Anyway,
Ralph explains that the animatronics get a bit quirky at night. They're set to free roam at night to stop their servos from locking up and move toward wherever the people are. They can't seem to recognize adults after hours, and so they think you're an endoskeleton without a costume on. That leads to them stuffing you inside an empty suit, killing you. This
Definitely
final
not
point
angry,
is
vengeful
confirmed to us
spirits.
anytime we die, as we're brought to a game over screen where our player is seen stuffed into a moldy yellow rabbit costume.
My
in the back
God.
room. On night 2, Ralph congratulates us on making it
Changing that to the Spring Bonnie outfit is definitely an interesting touch.
past our first night shift.
hello? Hello?
Interesting.
Hey, look at you. Night 2. You're a natural. Probably.
We're
Probably.
reminded that the work of Fazbear security guards extends beyond sitting in an office watching screens all night. Sometimes there'll be busybody work that needs doing around the place, which you'll be notified on your cameras about.
If you do need to leave, though, use the ventilation duct situated behind you, on account of the animatronics roaming and looking to stuff you into a suit. Be careful not to get lost, and once you're back out on the other side, try not to be too loud. The vents aren't big enough for the animatronics to fit through, though, so you should be fine.
Ralph also explains that Foxy, his favorite animatronic, is located in Pirate's Cove. Despite being marked out of order, he's still active at night. He doesn't like being watched, so it's best to stay away from his camera as much as you can. If he starts poking out, though, you can just hit him with your camera lights.
Yeah. He always had a problem with lights, that one. Wish we knew that back before he... Never mind.
On night 3, Ralph is surprised
Before
we're
he
still
what?
working here. The turnaround on guards is usually quite high. He supposes that we might never listen to this message, and if we don't, then that means Fazbear will be hiring again.
I really hope they don't call me. I don't know if I can turn him down.
Ralph tells us that if we ever get bored, we can always check out the arcade. Some of the games are a bit glitchy, but most of them are fine.
You know, leaving the office unnecessarily during the night isn't the best idea, but a quick game here or there can be good for the soul. Just use the vents to get there.
Ralph encourages
and be
to
back
find
as
some
quickly as
secrets.
possible. Those arcades are loud.
Of course, this is a hint that there are playable arcades which will be later used to feed more story to the player.
This kind of inspires
On night
me to
4,
make a game, just listening to him talk. Like, it's making me just expand my, like, mind on the game. I don't know.
Ralph's voice sounds tinnier than usual, and he's whispering.
Oh, the night 4 call.
I popped out for a minute to get in a game of Fruity Maze and, guess I lost track
I
of
hate
time.
Fruity Maze. That game made me mad.
I panicked and jumped in the vents, but I got a little turned around on the way back to the office. I'm using my cell phone now.
How do you get lost? Like, come on, man. You had to have been... Like, there is no reason on Earth to get lost in those vents. Or at least to not make, like, some sort of checkpoint system in the vent.
Call the voicemail system.
Sorry, hit my microphone in my hand.
Makes it to you. I'm not really sure where I am. It's a bit of a maze in here. Fruity maze. I'm going to try and hold out here for the night. Wait for them all to reset in the morning. In fact, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I'm probably safer here than you are. So, there you go. That's your tip for tonight. Hide in the vents.
Cooked. Wait, is that the
Ralph
Bitty
goes
Babs?
quiet. There's a strange slithering sound coming through the phone.
Huh. I didn't even know we still had you around. Oh no.
I didn't even know we had you. Oh, that might be the puppet. The puppet doesn't slither, though. Well, I mean, the puppet is technically still in the building, right? Well, I guess probably the puppet. But bro said, I didn't even know we still had you around. That's what you say? And give away your location, too? Like...
Remember before when I said the player could take any path?
Bro gave
they
his
like in the
location away to
vents?
die.
Well, if you stay in the vents long enough and take enough wrong turns, on any night you can find Ralph's body decaying in the vents.
And she's still in there? Oh yeah, it is Charlie. That's crazy. But... I don't know about that.
You're not allowed here.
That's right, the puppets in FNAF 1, baby! So,
I don't know. Is that a good idea, though? Like... She technically, canonically, hasn't been said to kill anybody. She's just always watching, right? Like, she ain't a murderer. She tries to bring the dead back to life, which is undoubtedly an irresponsible thing to do and to give a power to a child like that. But, yeah, I don't even know how she got the power to do that after dying.
so obviously, in the original series, the puppet wasn't invented until FNAF 2, and thus had no way of appearing in the first game. Despite
But does
the
she
second
really
game
kill
actually
anybody,
being a
even
prequel.
when she's made?
I didn't want to just add the puppet in as a regular character, but the idea of just ignoring her existence didn't feel right either. Setting her up as this mysterious entity crawling through the walls at Freddy's felt like something more appropriate for her.
That
in the
mask is
first
so
game.
iconic, man.
Totally missable on a standard initial playthrough, but more important to the story at large. This is also why Freddy faces the vents and plays his music box. He's programmed to keep her at bay by playing soothing lullabies throughout the pizzeria into the vents.
That's a good detail.
Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about the puppet and her place in this game later, but for now, let's go on to Ralph's Night 5 call.
But Ralph's dead. How can he call us?
Well, to draw from the week before again. On Night 5, before Fredbear shows up, the voicemail system crackles to life, as all the animatronics stay in place.
Hello? Hello? Pardon my asking, sir, but what on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The building is on total lockdown. This investigation has gotten really out of hand. They're saying this is what you want to hear, but they're saying we're probably gonna have to end up closing for a while. With all the panic and the new animatronics acting up, it's probably for the best. I promise I'll handle everything best I can. But for the time being, I recommend you finish your shift and try not to touch anything. I'll call you in the morning and update you. Just please don't touch anything. Okay, good night.
As you might
The
be able
hell?
to tell, this is my rewritten hodgepodge of the FNAF 2 phone calls from Nights 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I have ideas about how that game would work, but rest assured that if I ever talk about what I'd do for that game, I would absolutely use this as the Night 5 phone call there as well. The night then proceeds with Golden Freddy doing his thing, and that's the end of Ralph. This game would be full of small, creepy Easter eggs just like the first game, posters changing on the wall, characters
Lord.
with rare screens or glitchy hallucinations, that sort of thing. I was also thinking...
Bro already has the assets done.
The
Oh.
only Easter eggs that I want to actually put focus on are the newspapers, which I'm going to have make a return from the original. These were the thing that started it all back in the day, so I think it's only fitting we keep them as part of the reboot. On some of the cameras and in some of the rooms you can visit, newspaper clippings can be found, appearing and disappearing along the walls of the pizzeria. Much like the original, they tell of the missing children's incident.
5 confirmed victims of Fazbear disappearances. After the company's promise of safety following the multiple incidents which occurred at their establishment many years ago, locals are horrified to see the same tragic patterns repeat themselves. mascot killer still at large.
Mascot killer.
Fazbear's Pizza closed for public safety. Despite management assuring the public that the closure is only temporary, it seems unlikely customers will be willing to trust the company ever again. Other Fazbear locations around the country have also been negatively stigma surrounding these incidents. CEO of Fazbear Entertainment found guilty. Linked to another
Henry getting blamed.
Breathed a sigh of relief after the former CEO of Fazbear Entertainment was convicted last Thursday. Police suspect he was likely also responsible for the disappearance of who went missing from the same establishment.
Talking about his daughter.
Freddy and friends returning. New robots scrapped. After incidents of malfunction. Fazbear's newest.
I love the detail of the blood or the ink splatters on it, and the audio also like messes up around that time.
Of robotic mascots, which
good
debuted
deets, good
only
deets.
a few weeks before the location's closure, are being older classic animatronics are set to be taken out of storage and refunded. The acting CEO of Fazbear Entertainment calls it a return to form. A local concerned mother was quoted as saying,
I really hope not.
Fazbear Entertainment chomping
I
down
really
on
hope
health
not.
code violations. Management assured the Herald that the robotic mascots are cleaned regularly, but that the foul black mutants, which reportedly leaks from the mascot suits, returned without explanation. An official statement from Fazbear attempted to explain this bizarre, upsetting alleged phenomena as
unavoidable operational leakage.
The health department told
That's
the Herald
crazy.
it isn't satisfied with this answer.
As you can probably tell, I'd like to weave a little
They really
more
just
of the
had
events
dead
prior
kids
to the
inside of a
MCI
suit and no
into
one even
newspapers,
noticed.
As it seems like they would be relevant considering the history and track record Fazbear has by the time of the MCI. However, there is another article which can only appear on Night 5.
Young boy killed at local diner. On the morning of November 12th, a child's birthday celebration at the popular Fredbear's Family Diner turned into a horror fest when a group of local teenagers forced a young boy into the mouth of the star animatronic. The twisted prank gone wrong ended in tragedy when the robotic performer crushed the boy's head, killing him instantly. The four young men are awaiting a consolidated hearing in Utah Juvenile Court, but sources say the victim's older brother led the brutal act and may be more liable, thus potentially charged as an adult.
I probably don't need to tell you what this particular newspaper article is referring to. As mentioned previously, the arcade cabinets in Freddy's will be accessible to the player to provide further Easter eggs and lore hints. The player can go to and from the arcade at will, but can only play through one on each night without risk of being caught by an animatronic.
Damn.
There will be 5 minigames in total, and thus, to access the full ending of the game, one must complete an arcade cabinet every night. In classic Midnight Motorist fashion, there are 2 layers to each game: the regular game and the hidden lore section, which can be reached through glitches or secret exits in the level. Arcade 1, Freddy in Space, Reloaded.
Wow.
This arcade is a platformer /
Holy
shooter where
shit!
you play as Freddy Fazbear, battling space aliens as you try to make it to the end of the extraterrestrial level. This game is a simple, goofy Mario clone, but one of the platforms colored purple will allow you to glitch your way out of bounds. Freddy falls off screen, and as he goes, his pixelated art form will
Yo,
slowly
Steel Wall,
degrade
hire this
until he
nigga,
no
please.
longer resembles
This
a
is
bear.
like
Instead,
awesome.
he is now a
No. Awesome, serious shit. Cut the moving of the screen. Hire this motherfucker now. Like, dude, look at this. Like, this is all for a 30-minute video. Like, hire him now.
out of bounds. Freddy falls off screen, and as he goes,
Look at him. He's got the FNAF world enemies and some 8-bit. Oh no, that's not gonna look good for Twitter. But he's got some he's got that. This is crazy.
colored purple
Hire
will allow
him,
you to glitch your way
please.
out of bounds.
Look at the little 1-up flashing on it. Move this damn camera. Get this camera out the way. Look at the.
Freddy falls, but one of the platforms.
Hang on,
colored
it's
purple
gonna pop
will
up
allow
again.
you to glitch your way
Look at that shit. He's got a little 1-up in the. Hire him, please.
bounds. Freddy falls off screen, and as he goes, his pixelated art form will slowly degrade until he no longer resembles a bear. Instead, he is now a child, standing in a pizzeria.
Dance. We're entering the WarioWare.
Surround the Freddy child. We can use the controls to make our character dance. The other kids cheer us on.
Oh, Lord.
You've won a special Fazbear Prize for Best Performer. Follow me.
All right.
Game ends.
Unwithered, just go hit up my businessman with your business application, and I'll go spam steel wool with it. This is crazy, man. I'm not actually gonna spam steel wool, dude.
Arcade 2. Bonnie.
And I don't condone spamming people. That's messed up.
Bonnie's Jammin' Jamboree. This is a rhythm game where we must match our inputs to the ones shown on screen. One of the buttons is never used in-game, its lane staying empty. If we mash that button, the screen glitches and Bonnie becomes a terrified face of a child.
Oh my god, it's me!
We can use the controls to make fingers come on screen and point at the child, who progressively gets sadder. Eventually we win and the fingers go away.
Someone tell this damn crybaby to clean up his nose.
Comes on screen.
I have big ears too. I'll be your friend. Follow me.
The minigame ends. Arcade
I got
3,
big ears
Chica's
too.
Feeding Frenzy. We play as Chica and must
That's
run
crazy.
around as quickly as we can to eat all the food around the level. If we choose not to eat any of the food by the time the timer runs out, the level glitches. We're a little girl now, standing at a counter. Any
So
button we
hungry.
press prompts us with,
You're broke. Aw. No food for you. The
You look
shadow.
hungry. I'll show you where you can have all the food you like. Follow me.
the minigame ends. Arcade 4, Foxy's Pirate
What
Ship
the
Simulator.
fuck?
We play as Foxy, navigating a ship through stormy
Dude,
waters.
the text box.
We have to avoid
I
big
love it.
icebergs and shoot other pirates who are trying to board the ship. If we ignore
Actual
on-screen
visual
warnings,
masterpiece.
we can sail off course and run the ship aground. If we do that, the game glitches.
Oh.
We are now a young boy. Other children sneer and laugh. They take our glasses off and break them.
Well, that's mean.
The children leave. A blurry yellow rabbit approaches.
'Cause he can't see.
Your eyes don't work too well. I have a friend just like you. Would you like to meet him? Follow me.
He couldn't even tell if it was like real or not. That's creepy as hell. Imagine being the one who needs glasses in the group that dies. 'Cause like it's blurry as hell. You can't even tell if he's a man or robot. They're all dead. Yep.
Don't worry. There's one just for you.
The minigame ends. The final arcade cabinet.
Bro, let's look at that shot. God damn, son. That's crazy.
The final arcade cabinet is harder to find as it's not in the arcade like the rest. Instead, it is in the backstage area and will only activate on night 5. Arcade 5.
He lets you
Fredbear and
go to
Bonnie
it?
Bite back. We play as
Bite
Fredbear in
back!
a much simpler style of arcade than the rest.
Bite
a
back!
previous generation of arcade machines. It's a Pac-Man style clone where we're trying our best to beat a yellow Bonnie by eating all the bits on screen before he does. We can find a section of the map which we can pass through and bite our way off screen. We continue moving through a black void until eventually finding a young boy crying.
Oh, I realized it too late. Could have stopped Fredbear. Dear God.
A young girl is beating up another child. We must press buttons to beat them more and more.
Oh my gosh.
The kid runs off crying. The yellow rabbit appears.
You're a fucking bully. I'm gonna kill you.
Follow me, you'll be in big trouble. I can hide you. Follow me.
He didn't even wait. He didn't even wait, bro. Oh my god. Talking about your mom and daddy's gonna get you in big trouble for this. You better hide now. Like, oh my god.
Don't move. If you move, you will die.
Oh, beautiful details. Beautiful details. Did y'all catch that? You can see the spring lock wounds on his neck, I think. Oh my god.
Son is in there with you. It's your job to put him back together. Let your anger give you the strength. Now you can move.
The minigame ends. So, as you can see, I decided to keep the minigames only really relevant to the MCI for this game. As much as there is an abundance of lore to dive into in a retelling, I think the first game is the place to intrigue people with the simplest elements of the story, just like the original did. Obviously, there are some hints through these games to other things, like the Purple Man talking about his son to Cassidy, but overall, I didn't want to go too overboard with introducing other elements this early on. But of course, that's not where the lore of this game ends.
The end.
I spoke briefly earlier about Golden Freddy's appearance on Night 5, and how he takes over from the rest of the animatronics. What I didn't discuss is what happens when we beat the night. In the event that we survive to the end of the night on a normal playthrough,
Oh. Okay. It's me. Trying to get his revenge.
fade in on a notice of termination. Note: didn't bother to turn up second week. Your first week's pay will not be issued. The end. This is, of course, the
didn't bother to show up for another week. They are fucked up for writing that. You know damn well why I'm not turning up for another week. Putting me in a death trap.
bad
That's
ending of the
crazy.
game, but assuming you've played through all 5 minigames and completed all of the different tasks over the nights, this will unlock the good ending. Golden Freddy will still appear in the office and do all the creepy ghost stuff, but before he can bite down on your head...
Charlie for the win? So she didn't kill the guard?
Recognize you, but I do now.
That's crazy. Wow. Wait. How would Charlie recognize him? Wow. Rye toast! Rye. And now how is Rye gonna be in this video and not tell me to react to it? Come on, Rye. You did me dirty by not telling me he was in this. Wow. Absolutely. Find the codes. There were codes in the video? He left lore in the videos? Or Easter eggs? Michael Afton, $127 damn dollars. I'll be mad as hell. That is crazy. If you guys want to see more of the Unwithered Truth on the channel, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment down below. And I'm sorry that I had to do that annoying stuff throughout the video, but I do want to have a reason for you guys to at least go check out the original video. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.